Hi and hello everybody, it's Fern. Welcome back to another Planty video. Thank you so much for joining me. I always say that this channel has two vibes. One is like the cozy, moody, gloomy vibes, and the other is sunny, energetic, happy, productive. Today we are channeling the gloomy vibes because it's very rainy out. We're actually in quite a chilly, rainy spell, which is kind of annoying because I want to get my peppers planted, but I'm having to wait because it is quite frigid. But it is a perfect ambiance for a little Q&A repot with me. So that is exactly what we're going to be doing. Thank you so much to everyone who left a question on my community post. Really appreciate that. And I'm so sorry if I don't get to yours. There's just no way I can answer all of them. By the time I even was like going through the post and transferring comments into my document here, there was already over 100 questions. And we don't have enough time. So I'm really sorry, but I do appreciate you submitting, and also some of them are like frequently asked questions that I've answered in the past, so I will link my Q&A playlist. I have literal years worth of these Q&A videos, so if you like the vibes of this or if you want to get to know me a little better, then definitely check out that playlist. I will link it in the description for you. Anyways, so yeah, we've got the candles burning, we've got a nice cup of tea. Today I am drinking black lavender, which is my favorite black tea from West Home Teas, and I also added in some white chocolate macadamia cold foam. That's a mouthful, and it creates the most delicious, like it tastes like a tea latte. I actually have filmed this video once. I filmed it a week ago and some of the footage corrupted, so I'm back. And I actually repotted some really fun plants last time, so I'm kind of sad that I don't get to post that version of the video. But I repotted this Anthurium Doriaki Red Crystal. I repotted my variegated dragon scale, which is looking stunning. What else did I do? I don't remember the last one, but it was a few like bigger, exciting plants. Not that the ones I'm doing today aren't that, but oh, it was my Hoya polyneura outer variegated. I added the cuttings in and upsized the pot. So yeah, just to catch up with some of the repots that you missed. I feel like I do almost all of my repots on camera, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I do the odd one off camera, usually while I'm doing my morning plant chores and I just realize something that really needs to be done, but most of them I do with y'all, so sorry that you had to miss out on those ones. Anyways, I tried to find some more plants that would be fun that could really use a repot. So this one is actually quite crazy. I don't know why she's losing so many leaves, but I mean, maybe it is a good thing that we're gonna be repotting her today. So this is my Hoya Hush Kuleana Inner Variegated. I feel like this is one of the most iconic Hoya in my collection. I get so many comments about her, and I've just had her for so long now. Like, I've had this plant since I think 2020. And I got it from just like a tiny little cutting, and it's obviously exploded into this really lush plant. And this, you know that I haven't repotted it in literal years because it is in terracotta, and I haven't been potting into terracotta for a good couple of years now. But this one has just been so happy in this little tiny terracotta pot that I just haven't wanted to bother it. But now that I have picked it up out of its spot and it's dropped so many leaves, I was thinking like, okay, I think it might actually be time for a repot. So, oh my gosh, it's literally just dropping leaves. Like, she looks great. Maybe they just needed to drop because I haven't moved her out of her spot for quite a while, honestly. And she is still putting out new growth, so I don't think she's unwell, but it will be interesting to see her roots when I pry her out of here. But yeah, that's gonna be the first one that we do, and she's gonna be going into just like a clear plastic nursery pot. She's actually probably gonna be transferring into this setup with this clear pot and this cover pot here. When I do my repots, I usually work from the largest pot size down because I often, wait, does that make sense? yeah, because I often will just do like musical pots. So after we repot this alocasia pink dragon, this pot is gonna go to her. It doesn't always work out depending on which plants, like what sizes they are that I'm repotting, but I like when I can just kind of, you know, use the same pot. So yeah, alocasia pink dragon is the next one on my list. I recently moved this plant out of the Millsbow cabinet because it just hasn't been doing a ton and I think it might need higher light. I really want to get more lighting installed in my, particularly my Millsbow wide. I don't know how to go about it because I don't actually have the holes drilled in that cabinet. So I have one grow light and the cord is just coming through the door. But I don't think it would be wise to cram like multiple cords through that door, or if it would even work. Yeah, honestly, it might not even work with like, because I'd probably just use the Barina lights or something. I don't know. If you have multiple lights in your cabinet, let me know how you did it, or should I just drill a hole? I don't know. Anyways, I felt like she needed more light, so I'm trying having her out in the dining room area for a while now because she'll get some morning sun, and yeah, I'm gonna kind of see how she does with that. She does have a little growth point here, so hopefully she'll be shooting out a new leaf soon. And of course we are going to be repotting her because she's quite rooted in here. Yeah, she has a lot of roots, so I think that she will appreciate an upsize. Oh, and I also am trying to work with plants that I think are going to be okay in my DIY mix, because there are some other repots that I want to do, but they are plants that I want to put into mollies. So I ended up ordering more Molly's Aeroid mix. I also got a bag of succulent and orchid. So I have some plants that I'm saving for the Mollies, but I think that these ones are going to be fine in my DIY, to be honest. But yeah, I'm really excited to get this one potted up. I love alocasia pink dragon. Like, I really want to see this alocasia get big and robust because I just think that it is so gorgeous. So yeah, this is actually the Aurea version as well, which is very fun. And then we are also going to be repotting, or I guess potting up, well, I guess kind of repotting, my philodendron Red Anderson. This has been in propagation for quite some time now, and it's actually been living in this chunky perlite. So originally I was thinking that I was just gonna pot this back up into soil like I had it in before. But then I started thinking, why don't I try leca with this plant? Because I picked up some more leca recently and I haven't really tried philodendron. Maybe I have in the, well, I don't know if I ever have actually. Have I ever put a philodendron in leca? I'm not sure. But I thought that this would be a good plant to experiment with because it's very hardy and very just like easygoing. So, and I think she could appreciate it. So I'm gonna try my Red Anderson in a leca setup, which is gonna be really fun. And I am gonna give her another moss pole and just get her all ready to grow again. This plant was huge actually before I ended up chopping it up. I knocked it over and it broke, which is, I think, why I ended up chopping it. And it actually took kind of a while to put out roots, but like even now it doesn't have a ton of roots, which I guess is kind of good because it makes it easier to pot up and everything. But yeah, anyways, really excited to get that one just kind of like set up to grow again. So I will probably use this pot for my alocasia pink dragon because this is the next size up. It actually like works out perfectly today. I think it's really the move to, when you're sitting down to do some repots, do 3 different sizes so they can all just share pots. At least I find it very satisfying because then I don't have a bunch of pots to just like go bring downstairs and da da da. Anyways, okay, we are going to jump into the questions here. And yeah, I guess I will get myself set up. I'm gonna try not to give really long-winded answers because I want to try to get through as many as I can. But the first question is, what are your favorite oh my gosh, we're off to a rough start. What are your favorite music artists and what sort of music do you listen to? Now I always feel like I give the answer of like, oh, I listen to a lot of different kind of music, and I feel like everyone says that and it's like not an interesting answer, but I guess I will talk about the artists that I've been really obsessed with listening to right now. So first of all, I am going through a Kate Bush obsession, which is so random because I've never really listened to Kate Bush before, except for obviously like Running Up This Hill. Thank you so much, Stranger Things, for reviving that song, because what the heck, literally so good. But I was listening to that and Wuthering Heights. I used to love that song when I was a kid, and I recently read a Wuthering Heights retelling, The Favorites. So I was thinking about that song. Anyways, just a couple things were like making me think of Kate Bush. So I think my YouTube was kind of like flipping through Kate Bush, and it was playing Running Up That Hill. And I was like, how come I've never listened to anything else off of this album? Like, I'm kind of curious. And also, the Weimaraners on the cover of that album of Hounds of Love, oh my gosh. So I was like, okay, I feel like it's a sign I'm gonna listen to this album, and I did, and I have been absolutely obsessed, like listening to Hounds of Love all the way through on repeat multiple times. Such a bop while I'm just like out in the garden and stuff. It is so weird and witchy and just strange and bizarre, and I love it. Wish that I was alive in the 80s to experience that in real time, but I have found that album now and it has become one of my favorites. Not me already being so long-winded. Oh my gosh. I think I'm gonna need to use this bigger pot for this philodendron. I guess we're gonna do that one first. So yeah, loving Kate Bush. And then the other artist that I have been absolutely binging lately and just listening to constantly is Ethel Cain. Now, I've loved Ethel Cain for years now, but I am particularly in my Ethel Cain era right now, really just laying it on thick with listening to her music constantly, because I'm going to see her perform in the summertime. So I am just so excited for that show. Like, I can't believe I got tickets, and yeah, she's like one of my bucket list, like, people that I would just die to see. When I got the notification, because I was signed up for like updates if this were ever to happen, like if there would ever be a concert near me, and when I got the notification, I was so shocked. Anyways, long story short, I get to see Ethel Cain, so I'm just very much in my Ethel Cain era, although I am kind of always in an Ethel Cain era. Like, I just love her music so much. Preacher's Daughter is one of my favorite albums of all time. It is phenomenal, a masterpiece, and yeah, so I've just been listening to all of her music in anticipation for the new album and for the show. And then I've talked a lot about, I guess I need to do my poll, but I've talked a lot about some of my other favorite artists in the past. Like, I love La Dispute. They are also coming out with a new album in September. And love Taylor Swift so much. One of my ultimate faves, which I'm sure many of y'all know. But yeah, so that is some of my favorite music. Oh, can't believe I'm setting up another poll. For a while there, I didn't have very many polls anymore, but now I've really been getting a lot more plants on polls recently, which is fine, honestly. I love my pole plants. Oh my gosh. Okay. I love your channel. Thank you. I'm always so curious about the business side of being a content creator. Are you picky with the brands you work with? Do you have times of the year that your videos do better? Any content about that stuff I find so interesting. So are you picky with the brands that you work with? Yes. Oh my gosh. I get so many emails. Like, I probably even answer like 1 out of 100 emails that I get for like sponsorship or to send me something or whatever, which I don't really accept like a lot of gifted stuff anymore, only if it's something that I absolutely will use or that I would buy with my own money. But yeah, I'm definitely very picky, because I would never just want to be talking about something that I don't actually use or that I don't actually like, you know what I mean? So that's why I tend to do a lot of longer term sponsorships, where you'll hear me talk about the same brands, like, you know, every couple months or whatever, because I would just, like, I know that I like them, so I would just rather do like work with the ones that I know that I like than like constantly just working with random ones and talking about like new, just, if I'm looking out the window, it's because someone's allegedly gonna come cut the trees in the back of our yard today, so I keep like thinking I see someone and I'm like, oh, is he here? But he is not. Do you have times of the year that your videos do better? Honestly, I don't really think so. I mean, I think people like watching spring content, so like, and that would make sense in this niche, like talking about plants, that there's like more of an excitement in the springtime for plants. But I don't really think that there's a time of the year that my videos do significantly better. They just sometimes are doing well and they sometimes aren't doing as well, and I don't know why that is. Like, it just seems completely random sometimes, but it really does just ebb and flow. And yeah, I mean, there's times of the year that you get paid more, which I think a lot of people know that with YouTube AdSense, you make more money in the last quarter of the year. So that's why a lot of people like do Vlogmas and stuff like that. Unfortunately for me, I tend to be really bad at posting at that time of year. Like, I feel like in December, I will just post like a few videos because it's just such a crazy month. But yeah, so, but that doesn't mean that you're getting more views. It just means that you are like getting paid more because advertisers are paying more to have their ads put on the video. I always tend to get a lot of questions about like doing social media and the behind the scenes of that. Somebody asked pros and cons of being an entrepreneur, specifically in the plant community. For me, I feel like I've answered this before, but for me, the biggest con, and it's not even specific to the plant community, but it's just all of the admin, bookkeeping, emailing, like all the behind the scenes, just admin task kind of stuff. I just hate doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, that is definitely a con, I guess, of just being self-employed, but it's just what needs to be done. Like, doing that kind of stuff is what allows me to do the fun stuff like this, like sitting down and hanging out with you and like doing planty things. I will say regarding the plant, like being an entrepreneur, I guess, in the houseplant community, like I feel like there's not, it's just a very small niche, and I feel like it's hard to make a business out of that. And I'm sure that other people who are in the houseplant like world trying to start a business or trying to do social media or whatever it is, have felt like that as well. It's such a small niche. It's not booming like it was 5 years ago, and there's just honestly like not a lot of money in it, which is the honest, like, what I think. That's why you don't see me working with a lot of plant specific, like houseplant specific brands when I'm doing sponsorships and stuff. So I guess that is a challenge when you're trying to make a living. I literally feel lucky every single day that my channel is as successful as it is. It's not the biggest channel out there, obviously, but it's still just so cool that it has become what it is. Definitely, as far as plants go, outdoor gardening is a way bigger niche. I think like it's just a way bigger community. So yeah, and I feel like I'm really like, I mean, obviously my content, particularly on this channel, is like purely houseplants, maybe with like some kind of lifestyle stuff sprinkled in or some occasional outdoor gardening stuff sprinkled in, but we're mostly just talking about houseplants here. I do love like bringing in other kinds of things though, like I love making videos that are more geared towards like the styling and like home kind of stuff. So I think that doing that kind of thing has allowed me to maybe broaden my channel a little bit more than just being like houseplant care, houseplant whatever, which there's lots of channels out there that do that, and some of them are quite successful, but I just feel like those types of videos aren't what brings me joy. This is totally going off topic now. But yeah, I guess to answer the question, I feel like the biggest challenge about like trying to start any type of business in the houseplant community is just that it is a very small niche. Will you start up a merch line again? Okay, first of all, it's really nice that I keep getting this question, that people are like would be excited or interested in that and would want to support me by purchasing something, but I honestly just don't know if I will ever do merch again. I guess I would if I could do it in a way that I felt good about and that I was like, I don't know, I just, when I think about it, I'm like, I feel like there's so much Planty merch out there already that is amazing that like, is there a gap for me to fill? Like, do I need to be putting something out as well? And I don't know if I do, but if I came up with something that I thought was unique and I could like do it in a way that the quality was right and it was like as sustainable as possible and stuff like that, then maybe I would consider it, but it's certainly not anything that will be coming soon. But yeah, I don't know, sometimes I just think like, do we need another t-shirt? And I'm calling myself out too because I freaking love Planty t-shirts and I love buying clothing. But yeah, there's just so much cool stuff out there already that I don't know if what I could contribute to that, you know? But never say never. Can you bring back spooky repots in the fall? Oh my gosh, this question makes me sad because I miss doing spooky repots. That's so like nostalgic, because I did those on my channel for like 4 or 5 years. If you're new here, at every October in the past, except for last year, I had done usually some sort of like DIY, like spooky themed, I do make like a spooky themed pot, or one year I did like a coffin terrarium kind of thing. Like I would do a spooky Planty craft and then also tell scary stories over top, like with a voiceover over top, and the stories were submitted by viewers, so I was just like sharing the stories that people had sent in, which was really fun. But I stopped doing it last year because, I don't know, it was just a hectic fall last year, and now we travel like September, October time. We end up traveling to the East Coast to visit family. So it just, that time frame just wasn't really jiving with doing spooky repot because it takes a lot of work and like preparation to do those videos. And I also just don't know if I really have any more stories to share. Like I feel like the stories started getting sparser, like there was not as many submissions. So, and I also ended up, I think in the last one, I ended up sharing some Reddit stories, or maybe one from Reddit, because I was thinking like, oh, maybe I could do that. But when I would find stories on Reddit, I would like message the creator of them or whoever posted them and be like, can I share this on my channel? And usually they wouldn't get back to me. I think one person did, but maybe I did end up putting in the video, or maybe they got back to me too late. I honestly don't remember. But yeah, I don't know about like sharing Reddit stuff, like reading from Reddit. I don't know the ethics around that. So I just wanted to message everyone and like, you know, make sure I could share it. Because I was thinking like, oh, maybe I could do just like Reddit stories, and like that would be fun because Reddit has some really cool freaking stories. But anyways, I miss doing spooky repot, but I just like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll think about it, and I'd have to do like film them early, but maybe I could do that. Maybe I should open it up again if y'all have a spooky story to send in. I don't know, let me know what you think. Or if there's another Halloween or fall themed video that you think I should do, let me know your suggestions down below, because maybe I could do something a little bit different. I don't know, but I love the fall. I love spooky season so freaking much, so it is nice to be able to do something, you know? Okay, the tree guy is here now, so I don't know if I'm gonna have to go talk to him, but I'm gonna investigate. BRB. Actually, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to keep filming because it might be noisy. So we shall see here. Okay, the tree trimming is underway. I don't think it's that noisy, but if you can hear a chainsaw in the background, that's what that is. Okay, so the next question is, where do you get your gorgeous planters and trellises? I wanted to answer this one just to highlight that I have a whole video talking about the supplies that I use that has everything linked. So I will put that video as a resource in the description box. But I get my pots and trellises from Houseplant Essentials. Side note, I have 0 carnivorous plants but love your pingdom and would love another planty build video. Puppy Loved Olive. Thank you for the Puppy Loved Olive. I might do another pingdom. We'll see, because I do have more pumice left over from the first one that I did, and it would be fun to make another one, and I am getting more pings soon, so perhaps that will be in the future. Have you ever gotten to the point where you've wanted to throw everything out and restart, like a really bad bug infestation or something? Yes, I have felt like that many times, even recently. Like not right now, but when the mealy situation was really bad, or when I've had thrips in the past, that is like so frustrating and so disheartening. And you know what? I do kind of, I mean, I don't get rid of everything, but I will do a downsize when I'm going through issues like that, because it's just so much easier when you have less plants to manage in terms of pests. So my plants that had a lot of mealies on them, a lot of them I just got rid of, because if I miss them, I can just bring them back into my collection, and it honestly is worth it just to save myself a lot of stress. But yes, I do feel like that. Even just like, yeah, plants are a very consuming hobby. Like, I love them and it's worth it, but you have to spend a lot of time and even money for all of the supplies to maintain them and everything. So yeah, I definitely feel like it's normal to feel like that every so often. This one is kind of related to that. It says, are there any plants that you regret not getting or keeping? I guess not getting or not keeping. And honestly, oh my gosh, wait. I'm gonna need to strain this, because this is just like a closed system pot. So BRB, I'm gonna go strain this leca. Okay, I put it in a strainer in there, and I know that I have a scoop now, but sometimes the ladle is just the best tool. I don't know what to tell you, but there's definitely plants that I have come across for sale before and I don't buy them, and then I don't see them again for a really long time, and I'm like, oh shoot, I should have bought that when I saw it. But I don't ever regret not buying them, because they will always pop up again. Like for example, I saw Hoya praetorii on Etsy at the end of last year, and I didn't buy it because I wasn't buying plants, and it was also pretty expensive. And recently I've been like, dang, I kind of wish I would have bought that. But I'm glad I didn't, because it just would have been a stressor at that time, because I was specifically not trying to buy plants because I was dealing with pests and everything. And that plant will pop up again at a time when it works better for me to take it in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very confident I will come across it again. So yeah, that's kind of the attitude that I have now when it comes to buying plants. I'm just gonna add some leca in here. And also, getting rid of plants, I feel like I never regret it either, because it's just the best decision at the time. Like, if I'm getting rid of it, it's for a reason. Either I don't like it, in which case, or I've fallen out of love with it, in which case I don't regret, or I just need to downsize, in which case that's just what needs to happen at that time, you know? So yeah. I feel like I used to feel like a lot more frantic about buying wish list plants and stuff, but now I'm just kind of like, I'll get them when I get them, you know? What are your top 3 ways you handle anxiety? First of all, I don't handle it well. I tend to shut down when I'm like in an anxiety or stress spiral, but I feel like if there's a particular thing that is making me anxious, like something I need to do, or like a particular situation, I feel like the best thing is to just face it head on and just like get whatever it is over with. Like, yeah, if it's an appointment or something, it makes me feel a lot better to just start taking steps to do whatever it is that's making me anxious. But I know a lot of things aren't like that. Like, anxiety isn't always because of something you can just like face or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like sticking to routines really helps me. Like trying to go to bed early. I love getting up early, so the schedule that works for me, which it might not be for everyone, obviously we're all are different, but when I'm sticking to my routines and getting to bed early, waking up early, not drinking too much caffeine. And I've also found that gardening, what am I doing? Do I need more of this in here? I'll put a little bit more. Gardening has actually been like such a nice meditative, like I have really found that I just get kind of lost just in the moment and in existing when I'm puttering around the garden, and I feel like it's really good for my mental health. And I know that people always say like, oh, gardening is good for your mental health, but for some reason being outside in the garden does something different than when I'm inside working with my houseplants. It does something different to the brain. And probably because when I'm inside, it is different. Like I'm usually watching something, or like, yeah, I'm inside the house where I am all the time. But yeah, I love just like getting outside in general, I guess, is probably something that's super helpful. But yeah, I don't know. And just getting things done, like keeping my space clean, I feel like is something that really helps with my mental health. And I can be a very messy person, unfortunately, and it does impact. Like I feel like that really adds to my feeling of stress and anxiety when I'm feeling that way. You know, one of the things that really helped me when I was having my panic attacks was the YouTube channel Therapy in a Nutshell. And I don't know if it would help people the same way that it helped me, but the tools that she gave in her videos, obviously I was watching the ones about panic attacks, but she talks about a lot of different things. But the tools that she gave in those videos really, really did help me. And just like the way she explained like anxiety and panic really just like shifted something in my brain and made me feel a lot better. So I'll link her channel below. I feel like, I don't know, I'm always hesitant to give out recommendations. Like, yeah, I don't know. Obviously I'm not a doctor, so, but that's just what I found helpful. Oh my gosh, the trees in the back are so short now, you guys. They're so short now. Okay. Good thing we only have 3 plants because I'm literally doing this at a snail's pace. Somebody was asking about the transition from regular soil to semi-hydro. Now, I feel like the most important thing, or the thing that works for me the best, is to transition your plant to water first. When I would just go from soil, wash the roots off, and then put into leca or pond, I would get a lot of rot, and a lot of times the plant wouldn't make it. But when I started washing the roots off and then putting that plant in water and waiting like 4 to 6 weeks for that plant to establish some good water roots and then putting it into semi-hydro, it made a big difference for me. Or sometimes I will just take cuttings, like kind of what I've done here. So this plant, like the mother plant, was growing in soil, but I've taken these cuttings, they're rooted in like a semi-hydro situation. So now I can confidently go ahead and pot them up in leca. So I feel like that middle step is really important. At least that's been my experience. But yeah, they specifically mention, got my first alocasia not too long ago and it's not too happy with me. I'm wondering if I should try it in something other than soil, but don't know where to begin. For alocasia, something that I've done is to just root the corms and then put the corms in leca or pond. I've actually done that recently with my Longaloba silver and my variegated frydek, and they are, actually no, the variegated frydek, well, I put one of them in soil, but I did put one of them in leca, and the ones in leca are doing great. I just put the corms in the leca and they sprouted, and now they're, you know, getting established in leca without me having to do any type of transition. So yeah, hope that that's helpful. Somebody was asking what decade my house was built. Normally I gravitate towards older homes, but I really like the style of your interior and floor plan. Second is, how are you feeling about the house after almost 2 years? Which is crazy that we've lived here for almost exactly 2 years now. But this house it's only 10 years old, so it's pretty new. And I'm the same, like I don't really like newer homes. I would have loved to move into a cute character home, but unfortunately many of the cute character homes have like crumbling foundations and, you know, just a lot of different issues that would cost a lot of money and just time, and yeah, it would just be beyond what we wanted in terms of like things we would have to do to a house, because we don't have any knowledge. Like maybe at a later time in life it would be fun to take on like a fixer-upper, but it's just, we wanted something that we're just going to be able to be comfortable in right away and be confident that we're not going to have to be like dealing with a bunch of things that we would need to repair right off the bat. And of course, me being me, I was really anxious about things like asbestos. So yeah, there was kind of like a year frame that we were, a year time frame. Does that make sense? A time frame of years that we were kind of like looking for something in between. So that's why we ended up getting this house. But yeah, honestly, I don't hate it. It's fine. I feel like you can transform a newer home into something that has more character just based on your decor and what you add to it. So that's just what we're trying to do. And how am I feeling about the house almost 2 years in? Honestly, I'm feeling pretty good about it. There's definitely times where I'm like, okay, I can't wait to move into a different house just because this is a really small space. And yeah, I don't know. Of course, there's things that aren't perfect about it or that I like aren't my favorite about it. But overall, I'm just overwhelmingly grateful to have a home. Like, I still can't believe that this is my home, like that. It still blows my mind 2 years later. And I've really come to terms with it being a small space. Like, there's only 2 of us. We don't really need that big of a space. Like, I have all the space that I need to do everything that I want to do. So like, would it be nicer to have like a bigger living room and like an actual dining room and like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, that would be nice. And to have my own office, that's probably the number one thing that I want, actually, would be my own office, because we have 2 bedrooms and one is obviously our bedroom, which is kind of my office. That's where my desk and everything is. But then our second bedroom is my boyfriend's office. So, but to be fair, I have all my plants and all my stuff like all over the rest of the house. So that's kind of how that works out. But I've really come to terms with just being in a small space. It's more sustainable, which I really like, and that's something that is really a pro to me. Like, it's kind of wasteful just like 2 people living in a big massive house. Not to say that we're never gonna upgrade, but I don't think I'm ever gonna live in like a big house, you know what I mean? Like, an extra bedroom would be nice, and a little bit more square footage would be nice, but I don't think I'll ever be in like a massive space. That's just a lot to maintain as well. Like, I already can hardly keep up with just having like this 1,000 square footers to take care of, you know? But yeah, overall, I feel like just my gratitude and trying to work with the space and trying to find and focus on the things that I love really outweighs any of the cons that bother me. Okay, let's go ahead and stick this pole in. Dun, 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 dun. Gonna go here. Okay, I'm gonna try to put more leca. I think I'm gonna have to wash more leca too. There were multiple questions about how we're doing after Cadence passing. And I think that I will say that we are doing pretty well. I think that we had really come to terms that was going to be happening soon. Like, I'd even mentioned that, especially on the vlog channel. Like, we kind of were prepared in a sense. I mean, obviously you could never be fully prepared. But my boyfriend, he actually had taken a few weeks off of work to spend with her, like for the last few weeks of her life. And that was something that was really important to him, to just be able to be with her, like take some time and just truly be with her and to take care of her in her last days. I put this pole in too soon, I think, actually, because the moss is going down too low. Or is it fine? Maybe it's fine. I'm gonna leave it. But yeah, obviously it wasn't easy and hasn't been easy. But I think that we're doing pretty well. And I just want to say that for me, like, obviously it was hard and it was sad and it was a very challenging emotional time, especially like in the months leading up to her passing. But Cadence is Shane's baby. Like, she is his Olive, if that makes any sense. So it was a different experience. Oh my god, I literally can't even think about losing Olive. But it's a different experience than it will be when I lose Olive, because she is like my child, my soul dog. And as much as I loved Cadence and she was part of our family, it just isn't the same. I didn't have the same bond with her as he did. You know what I mean? So actually one of the hardest things about it was just watching my partner suffer that loss, because it's my biggest fear to suffer that loss. So watching someone I love go through that was really hard. But yeah, we're doing okay. Like I said, we were like somewhat expecting and prepared for it, and got to spend time with her in her final days. So yeah. Oh yeah, also a lot of people asking if we're going to be adopting another dog. I would love to adopt another dog eventually, but it's honestly like the last thing on our minds right now. Like that would just be too much. So I don't know when that will be happening. And also it just like, we take caring for our dogs so incredibly seriously. Like it is a big responsibility. It is a big financial, like there's a big financial cost with having a dog and providing it with proper care. So yeah, we just really want to be like fully prepared and 100% on board and ready for that when we decide to do it. But yeah, I would love to adopt another dog eventually. In a funny way, it's almost like losing Cadence has made that less desirable, or made that less like likely to happen soon. And I don't know why. Maybe because it just like reinforced how big of a decision that is. Because we used to talk about, you know, when we would adopt another one, and we'd think like, oh, maybe when it's just Olive, like that will be an easier time to be able to do that. But now that it's just Olive, I'm like, honestly, I don't even know. Like that just sounds overwhelming right now. Speaking of Olive though, we do wonder if it would be better for her to have a buddy. So there's like different factors that are kind of like just swirling around, and yeah, I don't know. Anyways, no other dog anytime soon, probably. I mean, like, you never know what's gonna happen, and you never know which situation is gonna fall into our laps. So if there was a dog that was in need and it like felt right, then, you know, I guess it could happen anytime, but we don't really have any plans right now. Okay, let's start getting this plant out of the perlite. Guess I'm just gonna dump it. Do you have any psychological thriller movie/show recommendations? I recently watched Severance on Apple TV and I absolutely loved it. Very happy to see you're doing better. Always love watching your content, whether it be your jungle home or outdoors in your garden. Take care always. Thank you so much for the nice comments. Psychological thriller movie/shows. You know, I was thinking about this when I saw this question. And, well, it's funny you say that, first of all, because we have really been wanting to watch Severance. I've had people say that they think I would really like it, like my friends and stuff. So it's on our list, but we are like the world's slowest people to watch a show. We just watched Adolescence on Netflix, which is only 4 episodes long. And it took us like, we're probably watching it for 3 to 4 weeks at least, because we only watch for like 15 minutes at a time while we're just like eating or whatever, and not every day. So it just takes a long time. We average like an episode a week. So, which is really good, by the way. I mean, like, that show was insane the way that it was filmed. Every episode was filmed in just one continuous take, which honestly blows my mind. And there was like a behind the scenes thing at the end, which was really cool to see how they did it. But that's why I was intrigued to watch that, because I was like, that is so interesting. And it was a really good show. I literally sobbed at the end. It was so emotional, but very, very slow moving character study kind of vibe. So I don't know if everyone would like it, but anyways, it's not a thriller, so I don't know why I'm talking about Adolescence right now. But oh, there she comes. Okay, let's move that over. Looking at the tree progress out here. But I was thinking about this and I was like, wait, why can't I think of any thriller like show or movies that I've liked? Because I know that I've watched them. But one that is on my list that I really want to watch is Sharp Objects, and people say that it's so good, and I've read the book, so I'm really keen to watch the show. I think, is it on Crave? I'm not sure. But Sharp Objects is probably the next show on my list to watch, that and Severance. So I can't like 100% recommend it from myself yet, but I've heard that it's really good and that is a thriller. So I don't know, maybe check it out. As for other thrillery movies that I've really liked, loved Get Out and loved Parasites. I feel like it's hard for me to think of thrillers because we watch a lot of horror. Like, we love going and seeing the new horror releases in the theaters, but and maybe Parasite and Get Out are more horror than thriller, I don't know. What actually comes to mind for shows is Behind Her Eyes on Netflix, but that might be I remember loving it, but that might be just a me thing, and I watched it years ago, so who knows if I would like it now. But I remember really loving it, but I think that a lot of people didn't like it, so I don't know if it's actually good, but I remember being shook by the twist in that. Anyways, maybe we can open this up to the comment section if anyone has a good thriller recommendation. Oh, also The Gift. I remember watching that years ago and being shook by it as well. I love a good thriller. So yeah, leave your recommendations for good thriller shows or movies down below. Okay, this one's a doozy. I've been following you for a long time, and I remember when you left nursing. I think you said before you didn't really want to talk about why. I'm curious if you're open to talking about it now, but also understand if not. Thanks, friend. Love your channel. Thank you so much. And you've been following for so long, so thank you for that. Because I have not worked as an RN for over 4 years now, which is insane. I've officially been doing social media full-time longer than I worked as a nurse. But I went to school for 4 years before I actually worked. So technically I invested like 8 years into nursing. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll talk about it a little bit. It honestly like stressed me out for years, and I like after I left the profession, and I just like didn't want to talk about it. But the main reason that I left is just that it was a very toxic work environment and very stressful. There was a lot, I mean, obviously stressful, but not in the, like, I'm not talking about the workload, although that was another thing, but stressful in the sense of there being like workplace bullying, especially from like upper level staff, and that just making it like obviously really uncomfortable. And a lot of the like bullying stuff that was going on wasn't even to me, but just it made for such an uncomfortable, hostile environment, and it was really just like unwell to watch my coworkers slash friends like being treated in whatever way. And it had been like that the whole time that I was there. And like, I know I've only worked at one hospital, everyone will have had a different experience, but that was just unfortunately like what the workplace was like for me. And that combined with all the other stuff that came along with the job was just so completely turned me off of nursing, unfortunately. So I really had like zero desire to like go work in a different area or go work at a different facility, because I just had like such an off-putting experience. So first of all, we had like the toxic, what I would say is a toxic workplace environment. And then also you had an insane workload and very little support, which obviously these things kind of go hand in hand, but we were always over capacity. Like the hospital is always operating at over 100%, like patients in the hallway vibes. And we were always short staffed. So you had an even bigger patient load, and it was just like extremely unmanageable and stressful. And you would also be floated to work on different floors and different units that you have never worked on before or had any orientation on, which would cause me so much anxiety. And you would just never know what you're walking into. You would never know, are you going to be down 2 nurses and you're going to have double your patient load and be like running your butt off, so stressed? Are you going to show up and be sent to work on some random unit where you don't know what's going on? You're not familiar with like, you just don't know what's going on because you haven't been orientated to the unit. Or are you going to walk in and have a patient that is physically and verbally assaulting you that you're going to have to work with 12 hours a day for the next 4 days in a row? Like, you just never know or is there going to be like a like, you just never know what you're going to walk into. And it would cause me so much anxiety before my shifts that it would be like, I would just be getting off like one set and immediately start dreading and being anxious for the next. And I just, Hated that feeling so much. Yeah, it was just such an unmanageable, like the expectations were insane and the way that you were treated was so unwell. I'm sure that there's so many other things, but those are just like the main things that come to mind. Yeah, just, oh my gosh. And the feeling of not being able to provide proper care is very just like, it's not a nice feeling. It's very anxiety inducing. It doesn't feel fair to the patients. It doesn't feel fair to you as the nurse. Like, yeah, I just can't emphasize enough how much respect I have for nurses and for anyone working in the medical field, because it is so challenging. Healthcare is just so, has so many challenges that come along with it, and like hospital politics and just like having to push people out and like just, oh, and also being put in charge. Like I would have to take on responsibilities as a new nurse. Like I said, you barely get any orientation to anything, and then you're a new nurse and you know you've been working there for like literal months, and then you get made the charge nurse, like put in charge, and then you have to deal with all of these like staffing issues and just like things that like you are fighting for your life already to take care of your patients, and then you get these extra duties put on you because there's no senior staff or they're tired of doing it or like whatever. Anyways, this is turning into a rant, but best believe those were not dark times. Dark times. And I'm so thankful that I don't have to do that job anymore. Although it is sad because obviously I invested so many years of my life into that, into like the training and so much money. I'm literally still paying off student loans from a job that I haven't done in 4 years. And it just, you know, I was really excited to go into that field, and it just wasn't what it promised. It wasn't what I expected it to be. I did not feel like I was, you know, taking care of people. I felt like I was just simply trying to stay afloat and trying to keep people afloat. And yeah, it was a challenge, honestly. And yeah, it wasn't hard to leave though, I'll tell you that. So I think I made the right decision, even though obviously my career now is a lot more unstable. I guess it's just a risk that I was willing to take because I was so unhappy in that career, and I just like the thought of having to do that for like decades really just stressed me. I totally understand why nursing has one of the highest rates of like new grads leaving, and we had such a high staff turnover. We actually had so many nurses leave at once when I left that I had to like, they were doing interviews, like the management was doing interviews, so I had to like come in and like answer questions like why I left, who made me feel certain ways, like blah, 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 because it was like an epidemic of people leaving because it was such an unwell work environment. But yeah, anyways, so good thing I left. But also just like really sad because that's just, it shouldn't be that way, and it's unfortunate that it is that way. And I hope that other places are better. I sincerely do. I feel like nursing is such a beautiful career. It just sucks that like money and politics and like all these other things have to like play a role. Okay, here's something a little more upbeat. Hey Fern, what is your favorite plant at the moment? I've been loving begonias lately. I always miss Q&As, but not this time. I got you. So my favorite plant, I mean, I always want to say my favorite plant is Begonia palensis, you guys. That's another plant that I repotted in the lost Q&A that won't be going up. I repotted her into this bigger pot, and I gave her like an aggressive prune. So yeah, whoops, that sucks that y'all don't get to see that, but it was honestly a little bit chaotic because it's such a big plant. But I love my Begonia palensis, and I was actually thinking, oh yeah, my Anthurium luxurians hybrid. That is another plant that I'm just obsessed with lately, as well as my Philodendron gigas. Yeah, I feel like those are the ones that I've just really been into lately. And Monstera albo. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Yeah, I love those ones especially. What is the most difficult carnivorous plant you have versus the most easy? Now, I feel like pings are definitely, okay, I need to get the plant in here. I'm just chatting forever, oh my gosh. Pings are definitely the easiest carnivorous plant that I have. They are so easy, I can't even emphasize it enough. Just give them light and pot them in a container that you're gonna be able to keep pretty moist, and they will be good to go. Oh, this is actually gonna be quite nice. They will be good to go. And my hardest, I don't know, like, I guess the ones that I've been struggling with are nepenthes, but I think that's just me, like, not caring for them properly. So, and I also did have a Drosera once that croaked, but again, I feel like that was just me. So I don't know if I would say any of them I've found difficult, but easily pings are just like the most beginner friendly and the easiest to grow. That's what I would recommend for people wanting to get into them. Okay, I need to start filling this up a little bit. Is there another hobby you'd like to get into but haven't because of lack of time, etc.? Yes, in another life, I would be a very crafty girl. I feel like I am a crafty girl trapped inside a non-crafty body. Okay, my battery died, but I'm just kidding. I feel like I could be crafty, like, if I tried, but it's the time thing. Like the question says, I just don't feel like, I already have so many hobbies that are vying for my time that I don't feel like I can fully like get into my craft girl era. But I would love nothing more than to learn different crafts. Like, y'all know I learned crochet and I'm like beginner level at that. But even that, I just don't make enough time for because most of my time is spent taking care of my houseplants, taking care of my garden, and reading. And I feel like those are just like, they're very time consuming hobbies in a good way. Like I love doing them obviously, but to learn something else and to start doing other crafty things. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted because I thought the guy was coming to the front door, but he's not. Yeah, I would love to just do more DIY crafty things, and you know, yeah, maybe I will. But I was such a creative and crafty kid. Like, I was never the sporty kid. I was always the kid that was in like drawing lessons, and like I would always get those kits with like all the markers and paints and stuff for gifts. And yeah, I was just like a very crafty, artsy girl, and I feel like I lost that a little bit. Although there are, you know, like aspects of this job that are creative that I love, and yeah, you can find creativity and incorporate creativity in your life in different ways that aren't just like directly crafting something or making something. So I like those things too. But yeah, I guess to answer the question, that is like the types of hobbies that I would want to be doing more of, just like making things. Okay, I do have to go rinse some more leca, so I'm gonna go do that quickly. Looks good. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so awkward. Okay, so I have this filled with leca now. It looks really good. I'm super excited to have this plant growing in semi-hydro. So I'm gonna try to guide, actually, I don't think that it's ready. I don't think it's ready to be attached. Maybe once it puts out another leaf or two, it will be vining enough for me to really, but right now, maybe I should have tilted it a little like this. Yeah, no, I think it's too far. Yeah, I'm gonna wait a bit before I attach it actually into the pole, because it's not a very long vine at this point, but the pole is there ready to go for when it needs it. So that is grand. First plant done. Do you think you'll always be a content creator? If you lost interest in plants, would you continue to be a creator of other things, like a lifestyle vlogger sharing life as it goes? Yes, I love creating videos. I love sharing, I love vlogging, and I do have a vlog channel, for those of you who don't know, that I post on every single week, and it's just like lifestyle stuff. I talk a lot about books, I do cooking, like talk about food sometimes. I give outdoor garden updates and just kind of like take you along for whatever I'm getting up to each week. So yeah, I am already doing that, and I would continue to do that if I wasn't making planty content anymore. But I don't foresee me like not making planty content anymore anytime soon. So don't worry. If you could live inside a fictional book universe, which one would it be and why? Now this is a fun question, except I don't really read books that have like the fun, take place in the fun places. What? I think because I don't read a lot of fantasy, most of the books I read take place in the real world, so it's just the real world. But I did recently read The Spell Shop, which is a cozy fantasy that takes place on this like magical little island, and you know, it has a lot of fruit trees and just like, it's very just cutesy vibes. It's surrounded by ocean, of course, with different creatures, and our main character lives in this like cozy cottage kind of area that's surrounded by plants. So I would probably choose there if I had to go live somewhere. I can't really think of anywhere else I would want to go. I mean, it kind of is like where I'm already living. Like I'm already living on an island that's like, I have a garden and it's planty and, you know, but that one is just has a more whimsical, magical vibe. So I always get so many questions on if I would ever get an aquarium, and the answer is no. Even if it was just aquatic plants, like y'all, I don't know where I would put that, and that sounds like it would require a lot of research and supplies, and I just don't think I would ever do that. So I'm sorry. A lot of people ask that like all the time, so I'm finally saying my answer. Another frequently asked question is if I would ever get a cat, and the answer is no. Could the answer maybe change one day? Like maybe, but I just don't think I ever would. Like I think I'm a dog girl through and through. But yeah, I don't know. There's just too many variables with that, like with the plants and with Olive. I don't really trust cats. When I was a kid, I had a cat and it would attack me like every single morning. Her ears would go back and she would like claw at me. I just don't really have a good history with cats. I appreciate the cozy vibes that they bring, like I really do, but I don't know. And also like having a litter box in the house, like this house is already too small for the three of us, so I don't think we need to be going and doing that. I appreciate that other people like cats, but that's not my journey. Can we talk about the different teas that you drink? I'm new to the tea game. I tried a couple that were awful, so I'm looking for recommendations. Now, I feel like a lot of tea are kind of an acquired taste, like green tea. I feel like that wouldn't appeal to a lot of people, but I personally love green tea because I've been drinking it like since I was a teenager. But beginner recommendations, I don't know. I feel like my favorite tea is the black lavender from West Home Teas. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna sneeze. But I don't know where they all ship to. They're a local brand to me, but I mean, maybe if you can find a different black lavender tea. What I like about it though is that it's a black tea, so you can, you know, put cream and sugar in it or whatever you want in it. Because I feel like a lot of lavender teas are just herbal teas that you just like drink kind of plain. So I love, it's just like, yeah, I don't know, I just love the black lavender. I love like, you know, the classics, Earl Grey, chai, but I feel like it has to be a good one because a lot of the times like just drinking like a watered down Earl Grey or chai is not good. I'm getting more into herbal teas though, because as we all know, I need to drink as many lower caffeinated or non-caffeinated beverages as possible. So yeah, I'm trying to get more into herbal teas. Oh. Sleepy teas, like we drink a chamomile every single night. Again, I don't know, like I feel like a lot of teas would not be enticing to people who don't drink tea. I don't know. If you have any tea recommendations, leave them in the comments because I would also like to read through them. Things that would actually be like yummy. What about like ginger lemon? I feel like that's a classic. Hey girly, been watching you forever and love your content always. Thank you so much. I'm curious how you feel about the accessibility of rare plants, with larger hardware stores accessing these rare cultivars and mass producing them as a factor. I know it changed everything here in Portland, and I like that it made plants accessible to everyone and my wallet is happier, but I think it also hurt the local growers and plant shops too. What do you think? Oh my gosh, yeah, so true. Honestly, I feel like you kind of summed up. I mean, obviously there's probably a lot more that goes into it, but there's pros and cons to it. As consumers, it is, or just as people who like plants. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's the wood chip thing. Okay, I was like, what? Who is starting like such a loud vehicle outside? Okay, maybe we will pause this for a moment. Okay, back to this question. Yeah, I feel like there's pros and there's cons to it. Obviously, more plants are available to more people. They're more accessible, like offered at a more accessible price point, and just like physically more accessible because they're showing up in more stores. But yeah, it sucks that inevitably that hurts like small local plant shops and online plant sellers and stuff like that. I don't know what the solution is for that, but I do hear that it's really hard, even just as a hobbyist who, you know, a lot of people like sell plants on Facebook and stuff. I've heard that it's really hard to sell plants now, and I think that it's like a double whammy, because not only are plants way more available due to tissue culture and mass production, but also the interest in them is lower than it was several years ago. So you have less of a demand, but you have more supply. So obviously that's not a good recipe for people who are trying to sell plants. Yeah, I don't know what to really say about it besides we should try to support small businesses as much as possible, whether that be our local small like planty shops in our towns and cities, and the online plant shops that are small businesses. It must be really challenging for these small businesses to be keeping up with the mass production of houseplants right now. I've always wondered about your tattoos. Can you show us your favorite ones? What's your inspo behind them, etc.? I don't really like to talk about my tattoos because I just like don't really have that much to say. But some of my favorite ones are my tattoos on this arm. I'm wearing a sweater right now. Well, okay, I'll show you. It's gonna save me work having to take photos and insert. I love my cow, and I also really love this like hand with the dagger heart as well, with like the long nails. I got these both. They're done by different, were they done by different artists? Yeah, they're done by different artists, but I got them both done while I was visiting New York City, like several years ago. But yeah, I love them so much. And then I also have a fun one on my ankle that I really love. You're probably not gonna be able to see it. Okay, it's too hard to show. I'll insert a clip of that one, but it says Born to Lose and it has like dice. And that's kind of an inside joke because my boyfriend's really into board games and he's like really freaking good at them. So I always lose every single time. So one time we were getting tattoos and like flipping through. I don't usually plan. I mean, I haven't been tattooed in years because we bought a house and it's just expensive to get tattoos and it just hasn't been on the priority list. But the last time we got tattooed, which would have been like, actually I think it was right when we were in the process of like house shopping, so 2 years ago, we were flipping through the flash book trying to like pick out what we were gonna get, and then I saw that one and I was just cracking up. I was like, it would be so funny if I got that. So I did. I love tattoos that are just kind of like funny and silly. Another one that I got when I was in New York, I think a different New York trip, was a rat because our Airbnb was infested with rats, which is so funny. My little like New York rat. Classic. Do you ever get plant burnout from both indoor and outdoor chores? How do you overcome it? I love your videos and you inspire me to do my plant chores. Thank you so much, and I'm glad that I inspire you. That is one of my objectives. I aim to provide the cozy, comforting, just like something to play in the background and keep you company, but I also love when I can like motivate you to do something that you haven't been feeling the vibe to do, because I love when videos make me feel that way. Anyways, yes, I feel plant burnout often, and I feel like the only thing that like helps me avoid that is simply to just stick to my routine and do a little bit of plant care every single day. So I like to get up early and dedicate a little bit of time to my plants every morning. And I will say it's not it's not 7 days a week, but usually like 5 days a week I will be doing that. And it just helps me not get overwhelmed by plants. And maybe that's like an evening routine for someone else, or maybe like you have a specific day that you stick to every week where you take care of things. I feel like it's just the only way that I've found, because otherwise things just build up and then tasks become very large and overwhelming, and that is just what makes me feel like I can't keep up. So yeah, same thing with the garden. I try to get out there every single morning and just chip away at things, and yeah, it's just what works the best for me. Ooh, I'm getting into books again. What are your top? Oh my gosh, did I just like forget that we're doing a repot? I just totally stopped doing my repotting. Okay, let's get back on track here. I'm getting too into the questions. Okay, I'm getting into books again. What are your top favorites of 2025? So my top favorites of 2025, I need to get the perlite out of here. Am I just gonna dump it out? I guess so. Top favorites are Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. That's my most recent 5-star read. It's like a literary thriller about a family that's living on this very like desolate island, caring for one of the world's like last and most important seed banks, because it's like the end of days. So they're caretaking the island and the seeds and everything, and a mysterious woman, or I guess a woman, well, I guess she is mysterious. A mysterious woman washes ashore, and the family doesn't know why she's there, but then the woman starts uncovering like sus things that are going on the island, and it's like a mystery. You get multiple perspectives from different characters, and it just kind of like unravels, but it's also very emotional, and it is very like eco-fiction. There's a lot about nature, seeds, animals. It's very sad at times. Yeah, it was just so good. I really recommend it, especially to planty people. I think that you would like it if you like have an appreciation for nature. So yeah, I loved that one. And then I also loved, I'm trying to think, at the beginning of the year, I read Notes on an Execution by Danya Kukovka, which was again another literary thriller, and it was about a serial killer who, it was like leading up to his execution, like his final hours, counting down to that. It was like kind of an examination of his life, but through the perspective of the women in his life. So the first chapter starts with, well, it starts with him. You get like his perspective, but then they're just like small chapters interspersed. Most of the book is like, it starts with his mother. You get like her background and everything. And then you get just like, yeah, different chapters from different women that have known him and been in his life. And yeah, it's just so good. Again, so emotional. I cried my eyes out many times in that book. And yeah, it was just really well written. I cannot wait for Danya Kukovka to put out another book, because I will be purchasing it immediately. Another favorite of mine was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, which is a really popular book. And I think it's also on the, what is it, New York Times, like best top 100 books of the century or something, one of those like lists it's on. And I can see why, because it is just so incredibly creative. Like that's what really stood out to me. There was just like such creative chapters in there that really just like elevated that book for me. So it is about two friends who they meet when they're children. Okay, it's about two friends. They meet when they're children. They're both in the hospital for like different reasons, and they bond over playing a video game. And they both you know, develop this like passion for video games. So they end up reconnecting when they're older, and they end up working together and creating a video game that becomes like super famous. So it like elevates them into fame, and they have to navigate just a lot of different challenges with that. With, you know, there's like different people that come in and out. There's different like friend things that go, like challenges within their friendship, and they each have their own like individual challenges. I'm not selling this one very well, I'm sorry, but it's a lot about video games. However, for people that are really into video games, I don't know if this would be the suggestion for you, because I feel like it could be like critiqued differently, because for me, I don't have a lot of knowledge about that industry, so I wasn't like overthinking any of the things that were going on, you know what I mean? But when something is like in your industry, I feel like it's harder to kind of just like get into it. But as someone who like doesn't know anything about video games, it was so good, and there were chapters that were written as though you were in a video game, which just like blew my mind. And probably the most devastating scene that I've read all year was in that book, and I still like, I read that chapter and finished it and like cried my eyes out, and of course woke up the next morning and was still thinking about it, and opened the book to try to read my boyfriend the like paragraph that had me sobbing, and I couldn't even look at it without crying. Like I couldn't even, like there was no way I could have read it out to him, because I was just like, open the book and just like immediate tears. Like I was so emotional for that. So yeah, love that book. So those were all 5 stars. There's probably more, but those are the ones that like off the top of my head I just loved. Also loved Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which is a classic kind of like gothic, really had a lot of atmosphere, and I love the description of just like the house and the flowers, and I was so shook at the twist. Like I was not expecting it. I was so shook. So yeah, I loved that book so much. But yeah, oh my gosh, I literally love reading so much. Oh, it's the chipper again. Please hold. Okay, it's not that loud this time. So while we're on the topic of books, how do you find new books to add to your TBR? Seems like you always find new fun books I haven't heard of yet. So I watch YouTube videos that are like upcoming horror releases in the first quarter of 2025. Like people will make videos like that and put them out, or, you know, best weird literary fiction books to read, or like, you know, just like videos like that I will watch just to kind of get books on my radar. And then like I don't always immediately read just off of hearing about one, but once it comes out and I look at reviews and stuff, then that will help me decide whether I want to read it. I also listen to a podcast called Reading Glasses, and they will do episodes like that as well, I think quarterly, where they talk about just interesting releases that are upcoming. And also just like, I feel like once you really like get into your groove with what you like, you just like hear of things that are like either from, because I'm following the author, or I see also Goodreads compiles lists, which actually can be quite good sometimes. Also, we have a pretty hop-in book little like chat in my Discord, so people will recommend things for our book club on there, or just like share what they're reading, and if it sounds interesting to me, then I'll put it on my wish list as well. So kind of like a lot of different avenues. Also, I know the authors that I like. I get book of the month and Aardvark book club boxes every single month, so I learn about a lot of new releases from there. Even if I don't like purchase the ones, it's just fun to look through the picks every single month. So even if you don't want to sign up, if you're interested in like finding new books to read, you can look like at the beginning of every month and see what new releases book of the month has and what new releases Aardvark has, because I find just like really good and really cool books from them as well. So basically all over the place, but I feel like once you like get into the kind of like reading community, then you just hear of too many books, honestly. Like my TBR is so long. Okay, are we forgetting to pot again? Oh my gosh. I got a philodendron gigas after seeing your gorgeous one, but mine isn't coming in dark or with large leaves, and I was wondering, any advice? I have it under a Soltech grow light and I have it on a moss pole. I've only had it for about 6 months, so maybe it just takes time. Honestly, I do feel like the gigas really takes time to actually like get established and to start growing nicely. Oh shoot, did I put too much soil? I have restarted mine twice now, and both times it's like taken a good while for it to like start looking good again. So it could just be that, but definitely make sure that you are fertilizing it well, because I feel like a good, like keeping it well fertilized is what is one of the things that's going to contribute to it giving that like really nice dark foliage. So I would just say that, and patience. The Soltech light should be perfect for it. So yeah, I hope that it starts growing. Is it on a pole? Does not, oh yeah, it is on a moss pole. Yeah, so you should be good to go as long as you're on top of the fertilizing. How is your crocheting going? Honestly, my crocheting is going okay. The last thing I made was the bandana that was in the last video I posted that I used as a curtain tie, because it didn't come out great. I still need to reattempt that again, but I feel like it's coming along, you know, like I learn, obviously, every time I attempt to do it, it's just slow progress for me because I don't spend a lot of time doing it. So then it's like you have to really get into the groove every time I pick it up again. So yeah, I would like to, well, I'm probably gonna do the bandana thing again, but yeah, I need to make some time for that. Right now I am doing a kind of artsy transformation of the Acrobar cabinet, which is going to be a video eventually, but probably not for a while. Oh my gosh. But probably not for a while because it's taking it is like slow progress. So I guess that is taking out my like crafty time right now. Can't take on too many things at once or else it's just like I'll never complete anything. But anyways, love crocheting, really want to just learn more and get better at it and attempt some new projects. What light can compare to the mother plant spectrum based on color and performance? If you're looking for a vertical light, I've heard really great things about the Barina, like the 4-foot vertical light. So I feel like that would be the most similar to having the mother plant spectrum, like, you know, standing vertical. Like I hear people suggest that as a dupe. The plant spectrum are definitely the coolest toned lights that I have, I think. Yeah, I would say that they're the coolest toned that I have. So I mean, maybe if you did Barina in like the white color, but I can't really say for sure because I haven't done that. But yeah, the Barina vertical light, or like, I mean, I would say Soltech, their Grove light is very similar except for warmer toned, so it's not the same tone. And if you're looking for a dupe for the plant spectrum, you probably don't want the Soltech price, so. Okay, this one is done, all potted up. I hope that she is going to be very happy in here. So this is gonna go in here now, but I'm gonna have to dump that out. There's water in there. So that will be her new cover pot for now. Very cutesy. Hi friend, thanks for all your videos they're very relaxing to watch and are inspiring. I have a question that I think not everyone will relate to since it's about veganism. The limits of the ideology can vary depending on people. For me, it was very difficult to have to admit I have to kill some insects a few years ago if I want to keep my plants alive. How is it for you? And how do you feel about buying and using beneficial insects? Okay, I'm gonna try to get this Hoya out of here. That's a good question. I feel like veganism is not about perfection, but it's just about reducing harm as much as you can. And you know, there's no such thing as a perfect vegan. And it's even like, you know how some people are like, oh, I can never be vegan because I love cheese so much. And it's like, okay, well, like, why don't you cut everything else out but still keep eating cheese? Like, that's still reducing harm by so much. You know what I mean? And like, obviously I know that that wouldn't be vegan, but it's just an example of how we can all do things that help. even if we don't feel like we're doing a perfect job. So for me, like, I am trying my hardest to make compassionate choices. And I'm trying to extend that to different areas of my life now too. Like, I'm trying to be a lot more conscious of like clothing consumption and where I'm buying things this year. So yeah, it's just, I feel like we all just need to do the best that we can. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but some things just, like, we do the best that we can, but some things we just, like, if you are vegan but you are getting rid of houseplant pests, I think you're doing an amazing job. Also, the beneficial insects, it's a gray area, and I've certainly pondered this before because, like, I don't know, I guess there's the argument of it's a more natural, like, it's better than using chemicals, which in turn could damage the earth and harm more bugs or wildlife or whatever. But, like, is it ethical to be farming bugs to use for something like this? I don't know. And I know it's really hard to like see insects as being sentient. Like, it's, I feel like the smaller the creature, the harder it is for us as humans to empathize with them. So honestly, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I feel like there's pros and there's cons. Is it vegan? Probably not, but like I said, there's no such thing as a perfect vegan, and I think that we all just do our best. Where do you get the inspiration for your haircut, and how do you style it after this time? How do you style it this time? I knew that I wanted to cut it really short, so I was just looking up like short bob on TikTok and on Pinterest, and there was a creator called Taylor Lachey. Is that her name? I don't know. I'll put a little screen grab here, but her videos kept coming up when I was searching for the haircut. So I just like took her photo in as like my inspo photo, but I just knew that I wanted it. Okay, interruptions are done. Now that I'm like gonna be wrapping up this video, of course, with the tree guy just left. So yeah, I just found the haircut that I liked, brought it in. I've had short hair before, so it wasn't like anything crazy. But I just use a texturizing gel and scrunch it. I actually didn't today, but almost every day. That's what there's still noises. I thought he was sleeping. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I usually just take, you could do like probably a sea salt spray or just like any like texturizing thing, and I just like scrunch it and let it air dry, and that is like my go-to every day. But yesterday I just like added some waves, but it's like flat today. So I did use heat on it yesterday, which I don't do very often at all. So most times when you see it, it will just be like scrunched and air dried. Okay, we're gonna get this gal situated. This actually came, oh wow, yeah. She has been in there for a long time. Oh my gosh, the fresh soil is gonna be nice, I'm sure. What happened to your beautiful El Choco red? Maybe I missed some videos. I don't even remember why I got rid of it. I think it wasn't doing well after we moved here. Like, I haven't had it for a while. I don't think it was doing well after we moved here, and I just ended up getting rid of it. Maybe the thrips. Yeah, I think the thrips thing happened, and I cut it down to wet sticks, but they didn't take. Like, I think they just rotted or something. I do miss that plant. It was really, really nice and fun to grow, but yeah, just haven't ever replaced it. It was fun while it lasted, I suppose. Why and how did you come about starting your YouTube channel? And did you ever get imposter syndrome in the process? I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't really get imposter syndrome, at least not now, because I don't really make educational content. Like, I'm just here to hang out. That's why I love just like vloggy style, like take you around and do planty things kind of videos, or just like this, like sit down, chat, because I'm not a plant expert. Yeah, I don't really make like really detailed, like, educational content, I guess. So I don't really get imposter syndrome because I'm not really impostering. Do you know what I mean? It's funny because you know how they say, like, when you first, like, beginners think, what's that effect called? Where it's like when you first get into something, you think you know everything, but then the more you learn about that thing, the more you realize that you know nothing. I know there's a name for that, but I feel like that's what happened to me because I used to make, like, more guide type videos and stuff when I, like, first got into plants, and now I'm like, girl, I mean, some of the stuff I still stand by, like my perlite propagation video and stuff, but a lot of it I'm just like, why the heck were you making a care video for that plant when you had it for like 6 months? You know what I mean? And it didn't even look that good. Like, so I don't really do that type of video anymore, but I guess I just thought I knew what I was doing. But the thing about my channel is it's always been like a journey. Like, y'all have been with me. I started this channel when I first, not started, but this channel has a longer history than that, but y'all have been with me since I first got into plants, and I've been like documenting as I learn new things and as I try new things. So I think I've always like made it pretty clear that what's the phrase that I have heard before? I am showing you how I do it, not telling you how you should do it, I think is what I'm thinking of here. So yeah, but I mean, I guess like I get imposter syndrome in the sense of just like, I am surprised that people want to watch me sometimes because I feel like I'm kind of a boring person, but I'm grateful that you're here. Okay, we have just completed the Hoya Hushkliana. She is losing a lot of leaves, so I'm gonna water her in and then not touch her again for a while because what the heck? She wasn't even, I mean, I guess it was dry, but I had watered her not that long ago, so I don't think she's like super dried out or anything. Hi Fern, per the choices of books you read, it's obvious you are an ally of the LGBTQIA+ community, but I'm just curious to know if you would consider yourself a part of the community. Only answer if you're comfortable. Much love to you and yours. Thank you so much. I don't consider myself a member, but definitely an ally. Are you still in contact with your friends? Yes, I am. I'm actually gonna see them this weekend, which will be fun. We just all live in different cities now, and one of my friends has a baby now, and it's just, yeah, it's just different for everyone to get together now. Oh, we're gonna end this with a doozy. First, what happened to the olive pot that you were gifted? It is on my, actually no, I moved it. Did I move it? No, it's on my Vistro shelf. It has my Hoya silver dollar in it right now. Okay, now the last question. Why are you buying so much nail polish? You've said that you are against overconsumption. You know you're gonna throw the majority of them out at some point. Would you ask an artist why they are buying so many paints? I think not. No, this person is right. I do have way too much nail polish, but I don't have a good excuse. I just love it. I love all the different colors. I love layering them. It's like kind of a fun creative thing for me. So yeah, sorry. Anyways, that's it for this Q&A. I really hope that you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it to the end. I feel like this is gonna be a long one. But yeah, really appreciate you guys. And thank you again to everyone who left a question. Yeah, I always love doing these videos, and I try to do them every few months. So keep your eye out on the community tab for the next one if you have a question to submit. Other than that, I will chat with you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.